community, right? I think if you're building for community, you're constantly experimenting on how to level up that community. That's what more founders need to do. And that means, creating new experiences, digital or physical, uh, creating new ways of sharing knowledge and access, finding new ways to deliver delight, allowing fans to come closer to their creators and the content that they value. Like, you want to keep pushing all of these elements. And I actually realized that so few brands were doing that no wonder they kind of all eroded in this bear, because they didn't build anything that was real between their community outside of the economic value relationship, right? And it's very easy because what it is, it's all the bad side of luxury, right? Imagine, like, imagine if Louis Vuitton was a shitcoin, right? And you guys would all be wearing Louis V's gear, right? When it's got that market cap of like 500 million, right? Or whatever your equivalent for a shitcoin is. But as soon as that tanks, you would not wear any of their shit, right? You wouldn't care because the immediate value is gone and the perceived value is gone. And that's like the actual thing that kills Web3 is the price relationship to the asset has such a large impact on our relationship to the brand, right? We essentially create these unfortunately lighter relationships, right? And with these lighter relationships, right, what you're effectively going to see is this market is struggling to deal with the highs and lows, right? They're not ready for the volatility. And everyone gets kind of like stuck. And this whole conversation came up actually because I had a call earlier today with just someone who's been an amazing like just ally. He just shares a lot of ideas with me, been very valuable with connections. And he was like, "Man, you should use like these services like Zeely." And it was interesting. There's a whole bunch of these tools now where you could essentially put them as bots in your Discord, and you could incentivize with points to tell people like, "Hey, go retweet this, go grind this," right? And you'll get some points, and those points will unlock allow list raffles, etc. And what it is just pre-mint on crack, right? Which is kind of interesting, and you can embed it in your server. So I went and looked at that, and I was like, "Oh, this is interesting. There is some good value here." But what ends up happening is then I wanted to go look at how are other teams actually deploying it. And when you actually see how they all deployed the tool, it's all super grindy, right? It's all just faking the interactions on tweets, right? It's just like all these people clicking it and just trying to get points and grind whitelist, right? And I'm like, no wonder these projects don't have real community, right? Because they do this. And don't get me wrong, I still have to like kind of whore myself out, right? I hate writing follow, retweet, like it still feels dirty, but it is the slight game that you have to play to get attention, right? In this kind of design. But like I do it like once every like 1 to 2 weeks at most, right? Then I go into these servers, it's like it's happening like every like 2 hours. There's something, right? Yeah, exactly. I saw it in a lot of the projects that even we were on too, and I hated it. I never liked it as a user. But then this is what I also saw is that it does work well for grinders. And then, dude, I was looking at this other thing, right? Is then I was like, okay, this is clearly a system that's built for grind. Has anyone botted this? So I just started to do some research. Dude, all this shit is so botted. It's so interesting, right? Like Premint, so botted. AlphaBot, super botted. Okay, so I'm going to give you some crazy insight. I met someone who has created 5,000 full wallet profiles, um, and like Twitter profiles, wallets, and Discord profiles that are all seasoned. 5,000 of them for both Premint and AlphaBot. He's literally running 5,000 of these on anyone that's somewhat good, right? Which is nuts. And I was just asking him, like, what's the cost of running all this? He's like, for a whole month, all these cost me less than like 1 ETH. I was like, holy shit. Like, this costs you less than 1 ETH? He's like, yeah. I'm like, then how much do you make? And he's just like, well over that amount, right? Just well over the amount. because it's not a percentage ratio. He's made it up with volume, right? Like that's the crazy thing. And then all he has to do is then be a little bit of a curator on the right ones. But he could just literally blindly use this free mint kind of stuff. And exactly, you could see these people just juice numbers, right? And Kenzie's posting one, right, where it's nuts what you can see on what you could do in boost. And even if you look at this profile, what's kind of interesting here is, oops, where'd it go? You can just see like the interesting ways that's designed where, right, like, oh, the first post that has this whole like retweet action has 7,000 retweets, likes, and comments, right? And then the people who won from 15 hours ago when they posted underneath that, there's only 30 likes on it, right? It went from 7,500 on the first one down to 30 likes on the second one, right? And you just like wonder, like, what the fuck? How's this going to work? Even if you look from 3 days ago, they had a post that only had 91 total likes as the first post as well. And this is kind of where you see is that everything is botted right now in Twitter, and everything is botted in a lot of ways too, right? And exactly, Grumpy writes it exactly well. These systems totally are incentivized to create alts, right? And don't get me wrong, even we at Tribe had to deal with this. There's a lot of people who had alts here. We know it. We ain't stupid. We've been seeing it since the early days. We knew when it happened with blessings. We knew when it happened with judgments. But those are all variables of trying to see how to kind of drop this down in a little bit of ways. And we're not perfect yet, but we keep doing it. So there's now people, you're going to see some people get upset. Alts are leaving, right? Which is kind of nuts. And what ends up happening is, if it's Zeely, if it's Premint, if it's AlphaBot, you're all incentivized to create alt accounts because it's a numbers game, right? You want to get, like, why wouldn't you create one more account? You double up your chances of winning anything. That seems like a no-brainer. And this guy has it on speed run with an average of 5,000 accounts. And then, like, dude, like I went down the dark, like, dude, I love researching this stuff because I know this. I used to deal and fight bots in the early days of Web 2. I know all these variables. Web 3 gets darker, man. There's like full websites and services, right? That you could just like pay to send, right, listeners to your show. You just schedule it ahead of time. 400 accounts will just pretend to sit into your spaces, and you could bot your spaces up, right? You could bot your impressions. Like, dude, you could buy 100,000 impressions on a tweet right now for like $1.25, right? So like $1.25, right? Like you could literally 0.0001 like ETH can get you that kind of shit. It's kind of mind-boggling, guys, like what you realize what you could do with just such little money. So what you have now, and this is why I'm sharing this all with you, is that this is why Tribe is so different, right? Even though there's elements where we're still facing some of these challenges, there's always a group that's here that's incredibly real, right? And I would argue the number of weekly active wallets, if it really is like 10,000, we have a crazy size of that market share, right? Which is nuts if you're looking at that number, right? And again, some of you might not be super active wallets, right? Like Tribe is one of the maybe first big opportunities you're getting. And we love that as well. But like everything we do here is essentially organic. I cannot fake this content, right? I cannot fake you guys coming in between rooms, between multiple Twitter accounts. Like I cannot create and fake your chat, your engagement on clicks and buttons. Do you know what kind of fucking madman robot I would need to be in order to play a game like that? That would be the fucking greatest con if I was able to pull that off. Like that's insane, right? It's like it would be magic. So what does that actually mean then? The shit's as real as it gets, right? And that's actually where I came to this whole consideration here. I was like, we still have a lot to prove. We're not perfect by any means, and we have these launches coming up. But this is why I now am like so much more confident that we're gonna thrive through a bear. Like, yes, it does suck. We're like at bottom of bear. Like, I hope we could get a couple legs up. Like, all bets are left on DeGods and Meme at this point, right? And I hope Meme shows up way stronger, right? I hope DeGods, like, I hope the way that Frank talks is the way he's going to execute on this. He is on point. I think Utes, the only sad thing about Utes is that he had to sell out for Polygon. But honestly, if Utes was on ETH, they might be rivaling a good 4 ETH floor, like twice as high floor at this point, or like 3.5 ETH floor, twice as high right now. I think it's a great execution there. I think if you get season 3 right and season 2 respectively for Utes, it could be really, really powerful, right? And that's kind of the insane thing here in this kind of design and this kind of structure is that we just need a couple of these guys to show a win, because then it will give us enough of a foundation no matter what to launch what we have, right? Like, I'm actually not even scared about Ordinal's small market, because you know what? I'm very confident we're going to find 300 really high quality engaged people who will not only want to buy that asset, but want to hold that asset to see how we can scale and do something really special, right? On ordinals. I'm 100% sure we can capture that, right? And dude, like, we're setting up these huge calls, like, just to let you know. Here, actually, let me add it to the calendar right now, and you guys could start filling it in. On Tuesday morning, July 18th at 8:30 a.m., we're gonna do an ordinal architect session with our boy Jameson of Seize Control, which I think is going to be a fascinating conversation. This guy's the only guy who's inscribed on a real rare Satoshi, something that's probably worth like at least very shallowly, like at least worth 150 ETH to 250 ETH. Right, like, people don't understand that just the asset itself, that he has one of the rares inscribed, is a crazy thing. I think when more people realize this, people are going to give him way more credit. This guy is a killer, and I want you guys to hear how he's designed that, and also then he has all the uncommons underneath it. Let's Rodimer rarity at its finest is what this is going to be really about. Rodimer at its finest. This guy is amazing. I really hope you guys give credit to what and listen to what he's done. I know it was priced really high in this market. I wouldn't have priced it as high as him, but I understand why he was pricing it like that, because there was a built-in value in this. But if he priced this a little bit cheaper, like half the price, this thing, I think, would be flying off the shelves. I'm going to grab one of his... Dude, his art is so good. I don't know why people don't realize this. Like, this guy's killing it on this front.
GM, everyone, and welcome.
Oh, no. Now you guys are hearing my audio. Oh. Sorry, I was actually grabbing a photo from the last session, and then the replay of the last Twitter session started playing. That's pretty hilarious. All right, let me add this really quickly. I'm just adding this event. So on Tuesday, what's going to be crazy is we're going to have like 4 of, I think, the 10 most interesting people on Ordinals come do a shows with us. Like, we're going to have 4 of the 10 most interesting people on Ordinals in a 3-hour window. We're going to make it like a little Bitcoin Ordinal bonanza, right? It's going to be pretty cool. And with that, I think this is the other reason why it's going to be really cool is these are the people that we want to hear from, because they're actually building the infrastructure of what I think will be long-term value in this ecosystem. And if we can get their insights now, we're going to have such an unfair advantage in knowing how this market is going to move, right? So the first one we're going to do it with, as I mentioned, it's going to be Jameson from Seize Control. I just created that event. Sorry, I was getting like a nice little information here as well. So there it is. That's with Seize Control and Jameson Ma. Like I said, I look at that art in the banner. Like, it's really cool. He did these designs where he took like the whole narrative of what he's doing is like Bitcoin is going to destroy fiat currency, right? We're going to seize control back from the establishments that be that have tricked us into thinking this dollar is of value, even though it's leading, being inflated and manipulated in every way. We're going to show you the value is Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's going to destroy this as well. Yeah, he did this amazing event called Fiat Funeral where he literally carried a casket through Bitcoin Miami, right? Where he like literally buried fiat, right? Which is just nuts, right? And I think this is why I love this kind of design. He's got a really cool way of thinking. And I'm telling you, I think this asset long term, when people start really figuring out BTC, this is going to hold value. And I want to help him. I want to help him tell that story. So that's one of the first big guys. I think he's one of the 10 most interesting people in this. And then the second event we're going to do, which is just as cool, is I'm going to bring the 3 best architects, technical architects, right, of BTC together. And that's going to include none other than Ordinali, who we hosted this past week, who's like amazing. He is the technical fellow at Ordinals as well. Next, we're going to have the actual technical and lead maintainer of Ordinals, the other technical team member of Ordinals, which is Raf. Raf Jaff is what he's known for on Twitter as his handle. Amazing guy. And again, 2 of the 3 technical leads on Ordinals, literally the technology we're building and collecting on. Fucking awesome. And then the third technical guest we have is probably the best external and first mover builders, and Danny again from On-Chain Monkey. These 3 guys are like, outside of these 3 guys, the only other guy who would maybe be on the Mount Rushmore of architects here, right, of course, is Casey himself, which I'm going to find a way to get Casey on one of our shows here. He's a little bit more harder to get, but over time we're going to do it. And I want you to hear from these guys, right? Like, this is like Mount Rushmore. I'm going to call it right now. They're going to probably hate me saying that, but actually I'll call it the squad, the technical squad on Ordinals. These guys are going to give you insight on the entire future of where Ordinals technology is going to go. And they're going to chat for like 2 hours with us, and we're going to hear what they're building and what features they're going to unlock, right? And this is super important, right? Because if you could get insights on how they're building the next layer, you might get insights on what will be perceived as more valuable to you and to potentially future collectors as well, right? So we're going to hear, right, the future vision, the future technical vision and opportunities for Ordinals. That's what this event's going to be. And I think it's going to be fucking fascinating. I cannot wait to do this here as well. Oh, it's not letting me upload an image on this one, which is super annoying, but I'm going to copy this. So guys, again, we're coming right into Ordinals with like 4 of the biggest 10 people. Also next week, we're going to have Trevor, who will be 5 of 10 people, right? And then literally in 1 week, we're going to give 5 amazing conversations with these individuals here as well, right? Which I think is going to be really amazing. And then I'm going to work really hard to get the other 5. The other 5 are Casey, right? Himself, the man behind Ordinals and Ordinals Theory. The next, of course, would be, I would say, ZK, right? OMB founder, Nullish, right? Rare Sat Hunter, OMB OG. And then the last one as well. Why am I blanking on his name right now? There's 2 more, and I'm just blanking on their names. Oh, BitGod. I think BitGod has played such a huge influence in the form of crypto Bitcoin Twitter as well. So these are guys I'm going to try working on. I have not confirmed with that group. I'm talking to all of them. I am slowly trying to convince them. And then the last guy I want, who I don't think I will ever get, but I'm going to try my fucking hardest, is a man named Shroomtoshi. This is the man who has created Bitcoin Shrooms. I don't know. I'm going to try my hardest every fucking time, but those are the guys we're going to get. And why are we working this hard to be able to get all these individuals? Because we then as a community get an unfair advantage on how to move right now in crypto, right? 2 of the biggest projects that I would be telling you to keep an eye out on if you start believing in BTC and Ordinals. One is, again, I don't like shilling. I'm not shilling here, but I would say keep your eye on this. I would definitely be looking at On-Chain Monkey. On-Chain Monkey is really interesting because On-Chain Monkey has this 10,000 collection on ETH. And here's a crazy thing. These guys have inscribed the first 10K collection on BTC. They're the earliest, right? First in terms of inscription number. There's meaning in that to be able to say the first 10K. It's a little arbitrary because it means that, do we care about 10K only? But historically, culturally wise, it has value. And the crazy thing is they've inscribed all of these same ETH guys on BTC. So if you own one of their ETH ones, you're essentially going to get what I believe to understand a mirror of this on BTC. And I think it will look like the 3D dimensions that they created as well. I'm not sure on all the full details there, but there is an element where you'd get this reflected as a claim already to these assets, which I think is really interesting and really compelling. So if you believe in ordinals, there's a chance for a somewhat cheaper price point. Again, it's still 1.57 ETH. Don't get me wrong, nothing's free in this world. What is really cool here is that OCM does have this collection being the first 10K inscribed. I don't know the inscription numbers off the top of my head. This is kind of where I need to see. This is where I'm still also learning, but let me grab the inscription. Let me see if I could grab it. Inscription number. Let me see if he sent it to me. Give me a second. Is it an ordinal? We inscribed the first 10K collection on Bitcoin in ordinal inscription 2219, marking the exact year and month of our origin. So it was literally done on September 2021 was when they first launched. So this is where it is. So it's inscription number 20219, which is pretty interesting. Check this out. And yeah, they're using recursive in this. They use some of the first tech behind this. There's some pretty interesting narrative here, and most people don't realize this, right? So I think when you look at this like whole opportunity, this could have the opportunity to be huge. I think really really big. I'm going to change this event, the Ordinal Architects. And then this is going to be Danny Ordinale, OCM, Ordinals, Core Team, and Saint. Okay. Sweet. Okay. I like writing these events out. It's fun to do work with you guys because my Fridays I'm still working. So I share with all of this, right? Yeah, exactly. Skizzy's noting it, right? So every OCM Genesis is already inscribed. So as we noted there, it's in inscription number 20219 is where it starts. And because of that, they have that equivalent. You're going to have that claim. Right, Skizzy, that claim hasn't started yet, correct? The claim is going to happen a little bit later. Yeah, Forza, I'm actually already connected with BitGod, bro. I appreciate it. I'll definitely hit you up if we need more, but already connected. I appreciate our community coming to bat with these guys, man. And I'm now just trying to trick him to chat with us. Because again, when I say trick them, I want them to actually have a different conversation with us. I want them to actually share their vision. I want to show these guys as real builders. I'm not the degen kind of style of this approach, right? I'm very different with the way I want to conduct these interviews. So a lot of these guys also need to get comfortable with that. It's funny, right? Because we're trying to have multiple conversations with really big guys, and they're like, I've never done anything like this. I'm like, don't worry. Like, this is how you chat. This is how you share. This is how you communicate. So for each of them, they're all getting comfortable with this kind of approach here, right? And this is kind of where it is. Okay, so the Genesis, the Dimensionals is upcoming, but the Genesis ones are already paired. Yeah, right? So the claim is still upcoming, but I know they're already paired, right? But they haven't got their equivalent claim, right, Skizzy? So that's still, what I'm really trying to ask is, right, it's still valuable to buy the ETH one. right? Because then you'll be able to get the claim because they're going to burn over to that, if I understand correctly. So this is where we get to answer this stuff out loud, which is great too. So, okay. Sorry, just reading through this here as well. The Dimensionals is upcoming, not including the 300 that already exist, but the Genesis ones are already paired. Okay, yeah. I'm curious. He's still writing. I think it's what I think it is, but I'll also clarify. And the best part is we'll clarify with Danny on stage. And this is how we're going to get you through a bear. Everyone else is worried. I'm not worried at all. I already know we have our core community. We have already scaled this opportunity up to have a core audience to this bear that actually cares about what we're doing. Yes, there's incentives with relics, but a lot of you are here to actually hold, buy, collect, and learn meaningfully. A lot of you are interacting with new experience you haven't seen. Like, I'm still looking back and like Reapers is so fucking cool. Just, it's going to be a fun little experiment in a bear that's going to show you how voting and interactive design, and Mirror is going to kill it on this front. You guys are going to see Mirror is going to take the lead as the sergeant of arms here, and you're going to see some really cool stuff coming out, right? You're going to see some really cool designs. And in this, that's just one thing we're doing. Earlier today, I was working on the new technical deployment for Ronin, and Ronin's going to have this PFP social credit system is what we're calling it, right? Because you know what's so amazing is every time I come into this chat, all of you are still wearing cloaks, right? And a lot of you extend these cloaks in different identities. So like we said before, and we teased this before, it's coming very soon. In order to get into our Discord, right, for Ronin, which will have its own like separate role and experience, which is going to be really cool. You're going to have to fly the flag of Ronin as your PFP, right? Which is interesting. And this is interesting because it means that if you actually fly the flag of Ronin or the specific visual that we'll provide, and you do it for X amount of days, you'll unlock a custom role that will allow you to enter into our world, right? And it's going to be for those who are initially believers. And it doesn't guarantee you whitelist, but it's going to accelerate you to get closer to our world, right? Because we have a very small supply, but we're going to make it fun. And there's still going to be rewards for those of you who do not mint. And that's going to be the other like fun little thing about this design and this structure, is that there's going to be some other fun ways that you'll be able to get access to this that can be really cool in the design. And if we do this correctly, I think what you're going to end up seeing is just, we're going to have some of the most fun in this bear over the next 60 to 90 days, right? We're working really hard to push all these projects through. And I think as the rest of the market tries to maybe take a breath, I think we're going to like triple down. Like, we're going to go even faster, right? And this is going to be really, really, really crazy. In regard to Ronin, Ronin's price isn't set yet. But at the moment right now, it will be under, the best way I could say it, it will be under an ETH is like the mint price. But, it's hard to explain because there's different costs with the inscriptions and stuff like that. It's also going to depend on our inscription costs. So there's still dynamic variables. But the Ronin play, right, is not a huge thing, right? It's not a huge factor in the design, right? What I think is much more interesting here is allowing you guys to see this product and give yourself layers of loyalty. That's what this whole product experience is about. So some of you will have loyalty on some of our bigger plays that might have higher cost. Some of you will have loyalty on our bigger IP plays that don't have cost. We're giving both of those spectrums of opportunity to you guys, and not every opportunity is built for everyone here. All of you have different backgrounds, different areas, different interests. There's some of you who may not even be comfortable spending 0.01, right? And that's okay. That's the brilliant part about this design, right? Even how we designed Gen 2 Soul, do you guys realize how crazy that we still haven't made a public tweet really about it? We've only talked about Tribe and what we've done in season 1. There's no public link out there. No one has seen any of this because we're not looking to mass extract. We're not looking to do max minting. That's the weird thing about Tribe. What are we doing? We're just allowing those who have found organic value to make the decision if it's of worth to them at the level that they're comfortable. And again, at a bottom of bear market, protect your ETH, right? Protect your ETH at all costs. But we are built differently because, again, we're not looking to build an inorganic, right, or a inauthentic community at this point, right? And in this market, it's so easy to build FOMO shit, right? I remember when I was in, like, the last bear and bull markets, right? Anyone pushes something out that you trust, if it was a cheap mint, you minted it, right? Because you're just like, fuck it, in bull, right? Let's see where it runs, right? Like, we didn't care. There were so many blind mints between 0.01 and 0.05, and sadly, some blind mints between 0.1 and 0.3 at times, right? It got pretty crazy. And that's kind of what I'm trying to counteract, right? That's the brilliance about this. The other brilliance is that none of you guys are in a rush. The core value, as well, is that we don't need to do a 10-minute mint. Do you know how many minutes we have right now guaranteed? Hold on, let's do the math. Currently, instead of 10 minutes, we have 20,160, right? Minutes in your window, right? And this is kind of why it gets really powerful. But again, all of you need to be able to choose the layer of participation you want. And then we have a crazy high price point right now, right? This crazy high price point, which is whales, right? Right. It's built for true whales of this market, and that's diamonds. And again, we don't overshill diamonds. We don't even have a link for diamonds in our fucking Discord. Because if you really want to buy, you should buy organically. You should not buy because a link was pushed to you and someone says, yo, do this. You should buy because someone came to you and introduced this brand to you, or you somehow got introduced to our brand organically through our content, and you found out that you wanted to have a deeper relationship with our community, and you felt the value of diamonds would continue to grow. And in doing so, what becomes really insane is that we have this community and we have this approach that feels authentic all the way through. It feels balanced all the way through. And all of you have an opportunity to get value at your entry points. And we're doing our best to keep our entry points as low as possible. And that's also why I know we're going to make it through this bear. Not only make it, why we're going to thrive in this bear. I want it to be a no-brainer every time you look back. For those of you who actually used your soul in season 1, I would argue 80% of you would argue that this was a very clear high value for the 0.0088 ETH. But there's a portion who didn't use soul, right? And did not want to be active in this community where, again, the value would not be strong. So my goal isn't to keep selling to those people, right? My goal is just to align with the first group. And that's what I've also realized of why I know we're going to make it through this bear. We don't have to build our model to be extractive at all. Our model just needs to be, let me give you lots of good options to grow value together. Choose where you want to enter, when you want to enter, at the cost points you want to enter. But at the same point, make sure that you have conviction on what the project is more than just the fact that we're attached to it. Have conviction because it's something that connects to you, something that you identify with the story and the art. You identify with the culture and the community. You identify with the opportunity it could bring to the next wave. If you believe that stuff, then you're going to enjoy this fucking journey we're building. And we don't have to build it for anyone else, right? And that's where it gets really interesting, is that this whole design is custom to you. You get to choose your pace. Even if you're passive, don't worry if you don't have 100 relics. If you want to join for like 10 times a month, right, on a few live events, right, and be able to get that, like, there's huge value in getting a soul. You're going to have the ability to enter fair raffles. There are fair raffles that come in for less than 10 entries, right? It's not just auctions out there, right? And I'll show you. I'll do some fair raffles starting next week. Next week, I'm only going to do fair raffles pretty much, right? It's not even going to be auctions because I want to show you guys as well is that, yes, the top relic hunters do have a huge advantage. You guys are participating, but I don't think it's bad. I think it's great. I think it's great that there's incentives for the hyperactive, right? Those who are doing it, right? I think the other brilliant part is, right? Like, we get to give you guys the chance to collect and then use that participation in anything we find in our ecosystem, right? And again, some may be out of your price range. Like, God, like, it's crazy how pricey Oath is now, right? When we do an auction, right? With new relics out. But it's also brilliant. Do you see how loyal and the crazy demand is at this point for people who want the first asset, right? That's kind of where it's really cool. Yeah, so the way fair raffles work, you know what? Hey, let's do a fair raffle right now. How many of you, okay, for you know what? I'm gonna do a fair raffle for Soul Season 2 only right now. I'm gonna give you guys a chance. This is where we're gonna value some loyalty because remember, Season 2 is also gonna be fair raffles too. Give me just a second. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna give you guys. Oops. Hold on. Yep, I'm gonna give it to you guys. Give me just a second. Okay. Only if you remember, verify your Soul Season 2 if you've already bought. Okay, we're gonna go to the village market. I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna show you how a fair raffle works. This is really cool. And I'm gonna make it a free fair raffle, right? I want to make this like it's free, so I'm gonna only give one of these away. But this is how a fair raffle works. I'm gonna give one away. And the way it is that you could enter this raffle and it will cost some amount of relics, right? So what I'll do is, okay, instead of free this one, I'm gonna do one. You just have to have one relic, right? And the great thing is, as long as you got one relic in Season 2, you'll be able to enter this raffle. And the reason why we call it a fair raffle is that you'll only get charged the relic if you win. If you do not win, you lose nothing, right? So it's just fair. It's just giving you a pure fair raffle at no cost, but it requires you to have a minimal threshold to enter. So some fair raffles will be 5 relics, 10 relics, etc., right? So here, I'm gonna do one for Oath real quick. I'm gonna do a fair raffle for Oath. This is crazy. Oh, okay, actually not Oath. Oath is too crazy. Hold on, sorry. I said Weebox, right? This is fair. Oath might be too insane, but I'll do Oath fair raffle for just Season 2 next week. I promise you that. But I want to be fair with that one and give a larger window so more people could enter. But I am going to give you Weebox here real quick. Free mint. This is a great project. Free mint, 2,000 supply. Anime toys, anime IP. They've already partnered with big IP like Oniverse, one of the biggest anime Web3 projects out there. They've partnered with and they own the IP, or they have the license to the IP for Ghost in the Shell, really big anime. And then of course they also have Afro Samurai as well. Again, another really big anime as well. So really cool on that front, and they're venture backed. They've raised over 6 million with Animoca as their first investor. So really good signal. The good thing is we'll usually make these run for a little bit of time. So let's make this 5 minutes real quick. And the role is Weebox. And this is how it works. So if you have Soul Season 2, you'll be able to enter in here. Oh man, Discord's not allowing me to put images right now. Discord's a little weird. All right. So again, if you have Season 2 and you own just one relic, you can now enter essentially for free. It'll take a little bit of time to get all your entrants in because a lot of you should be smashing the hell out of this because a lot of you have Season 2 at the moment right now. So here's the cool thing. This is how this whole system works. And it allows you, even when you don't have the maximum relics to bid, to get in. But look, just look at the history. here's what some of the auction just ended at for Reapers. If you just had 40 relics, which don't get me wrong, it's a lot of participation, but that's a good signal because these are people who've at least been here for probably 1 to 2 months of actions, right? That's a great way to get these loyalties. A little bit below that, Reapers also went the day before for only 35. Then Oath went crazy. This is just where the top guys are going after with their relics. So this is going for 160. So if you're an engagement whale, so do you guys see that we allow for whales of like diamonds for like who have ETH whales to come in? We also let engagement whales like, dude, Zane, one of the best community members here. Like this guy is actively communicating. Look at his activity. Like, oh my God. And dude, just look at him for season 3. This guy is amazing. And like he's really positive in our community. It's amazing to see a guy like that win. Like you guys should be so excited that our curation for Oath is this high. Like you're getting insanely loyal people coming in everywhere. And it's showing you that you have all these different entry price points, right? We did other fair raffles. I think this was only 10 relics or 12 relics and 3 people won Wii Box, right? This one was, I think, only 8 relics for Reapers we gave away, even smaller. So that's the cool thing is that you don't need to be a crazy whale and you could like crazy engagement whale. You can still be here and get chances along the way. So if you value the knowledge, the access, and the experiences, that's where Soul Season 2 makes sense, right? And the other reason why, like honestly, if you were getting at least like 5-10 relics, like, and you already have a Genesis Soul, if you have the upside to do it, Soul Season 2 paired with Genesis Soul is going to be the most valuable thing we'll unlock for all the soul assets. It's those combinations, right? We call that intertwined souls. That is the depth of loyalty. Those are going to be the most important ones because if you have that, you're going to see some of the cooler rarity modifiers be in your favor, right? And that's going to be where it gets really interesting in this front too. So as you can see, this is kind of where it gets pretty exciting on what we can now distribute fairly, right? No matter what, all of you are getting access to high quality stuff. And you know what? I want to be nice. I want to do another fair raffle after this one is over. I don't want to stack them at the same time because again, these are like detailed bots that actually are well designed, but any bots that have so much interactions happening, overlapping, it just slows the whole system down. We actually did this the other day. We did this yesterday. Oh my God. I think I put like 6 auctions and raffles all at the same time. It was nuts. And we'll do more of that next week because we're also working on new allocation. Like a lot of this stuff is coming through in a really fun manner. And also what you'll see if you keep coming here to the shopkeeper, this is what you guys should all do as well, is you're going to register your wallet and you could now add your ETH, Soul, and BTC wallet. Add all 3, right? And we'll teach you as well. If you don't have a BTC wallet, we'll do this. We'll teach you. We'll do a Soul onboarding session as well. We'll be doing those in the next like 10 days. It's going to not be this next week, but the following week. And we'll help onboard you. But if you already have these, add these in. Because what I'm going to show you in Season 2, right? And this is the other reason why you want Season 2 Soul. Season 2 Soul is the main theme for Season 2 Soul is ordinals. So if you believe in the ordinals upside as well, like you must have Soul then, right? If you really want access to our ordinal stuff, you need Soul Season 2 for that as well. And especially for those of you who have Genesis Soul and Soul Season 2 at the same time, it's just going to give you a value compound. But the great thing is any soul still has value. We've designed that, right? But everything has its own theme. And if you had Soul Season 1, you had a huge advantage on the first village partner. So many people got huge wins off dimensionals. So many guys that got huge access off other whitelists through the ecosystems. Like, again, I know it's not a shit ton, but you guys realize the block, we had one of the largest allocations for that as well. And that thing, got to 0.3, 0.4 ETH. That's on a free mint. That's really great. I know Paraverse wasn't as big, but again, not bad on a 0 to 0.1 to 0.115 in that kind of range there as well. Because as well as that, those are nicer plays when you know the cost basis risk was low, right? Ghost Boy, we had one of the largest allocations. Momoguru, we had a little bit of allocation. I wish we got to them earlier. There was some good allocation for diamonds for sure, but I wish we got to there earlier and got bigger because we were so impactful for their launch, even though they've crashed and burned. Because here's the best part for almost all these projects, we've given you also the heads up on how the project has moved. Like we give insights on, hey, when we think you should get out of this project, right? Like, or where the downsides are. Because that's the other thing we're trying to do. We're not just trying to get you to the project, we're trying to let you know how we think that tribe is going to survive, right? And that's what we also share about our own business as well. But because of that, I want to introduce you guys to ETH. We're going to definitely introduce you to BTC. And then if we could get this right, we're going to introduce you to Sol as well. And a lot of you are already there. But that's also going to be like the key thing. I bet you season 3 will end up being like all Solana, but I think some of it is going to bleed into Web 2, into season 2 here with BTC. But this is kind of where like all these systems then come together on your guys' end, which I think is going to be really powerful. Is that who else has this type of leverage ready for this market? There's very few people, right? There's very few people that have been there. Ooh, looks like we got a winner. See, I even forget sometimes. Congrats, Leo. Dang, another Ruby pendant, but God, own both souls. I love it, man. I love that the gods are in your favor. Oh, it's a very super active user. Congratulations, Leo. Okay, and then let's do one more. What do you guys want? Let's do, I know you guys want Oath, but I want to do Oath next week, and we don't have much Oath, but whatever. I'll give you Oath. All right, let's make it crazy. Let's see. You know what? We should let one luck of the draw. I don't care if you're, if you're early to our ecosystem. If you have Soul Season 2, we might as well give one great raffle for Oath here just today. Free mint. This is going to be under 1,500, but we'll just say 1,500 supply. Anime venture backed. Nope, we don't need that. All right. And then I'm going to give you one Oath. And then I'll give you, I don't want to give out any more Reapers, but Oath will be a little bit pricier. But by pricier, I'm only going to make it 10. If you at least have 10, you're going to have a chance today, which is great. All right. May the gods be in your favor here as well on this design. Go ahead and enter that. We're going to do one for Oath there as well. You guys are lucky. I'll do another one that's going to be more next week. 10 is too cheap, but you know what? One time, it shouldn't be bad. Like, that's the one thing I think a lot of people also forget. You don't need to create such a high bar that no one gets in, because that's like pure country club design. Sometimes it's actually nice at times to just kind of let it go. And you're right. Like 10 relics is probably too low with season 2 in here as well. But you know what? I'm okay with it. Because again, we've curated this so well, a little bit of luck goes a long way in life, right? This is the other thing I've learned in life, right? Poker is very much the type of framework I take. And I know, of course, we'll evaluate the account to make sure it's at least somewhat of a real human. But like, I like giving a little bit of hope, right? And it's exactly as Jason says, one time, please, right? Like, I want one time on the river. I need my one outer, right? Let's do it. Right. I think it's kind of fun on this design to be able to do this kind of stuff here on this front. And I know some of you are this staunch, like, oh, we worked so hard for this. You have, and you should be happy that 90% of the allocation is going to you. What other community does that, right? Which is crazy, right? And that's kind of why, like, I think it's fun on this design. And I'll share it. I'll share the screen. We should watch it live. And I'll do a couple more slightly fairish offers as well. I'll do one more after this. Because you know what? I do yeah, and I will do that Vavity, right, where it's a forced entry raffle, but I want to make sure we set that system up correctly. But yeah, there'll be stuff where you have to enter, which will be pretty interesting. All right, let's go check out where we are in the village market. I'm sure all of you are smashing this one. But you know what? Like, we just had these people all minted season 2 Soul early. I think they deserve one play on this oath. That's also the other curation that you're forgetting here, even with 10 relics. Because at least they've been curated to be buying a season 2 soul when it was a purely optional thing. I love that. That's kind of what I love about our design, is that we get to give a little bit more fair. But you know what? You might not think it's fair, but you know what you should give us credit on? At least it's fucking transparent, right? Like, you're literally seeing the most transparent allocation, right, in of any project, right? Literally of any project, and you can measure it as well. It's a curse as well, because damn, you know how many times they get called out? It's like, look at this oath person. They only have like 4 relics. How did they get this? Like, I know you guys see that, right? But there's different reasons why certain people got it, but it's such a small number. It's such a small number compared, right? Because remember, oaths were given out by, early design, and we've improved over time. But there's also partnerships that come with this, right? We did have strategic partners here. And some of those community members, they just raffled it off. We can't control that. So it doesn't mean that we could guarantee they're going to engage with us. Just know that we're working pretty hard to ensure the quality is really high. So I hope that you guys have this opportunity to kind of win this, which is pretty cool. We'll do one more right after this as well. You know what? Here, I'll set it up right now. I'll give one more in the village market. Sorry, I was just checking the chat to see if I missed anything. Season 3 don't count yet. Season 3 are rolling in. You're kind of counting into it. So there's kind of a lag on the seasonal relics, right? And it's just a healthy retention metric, right? If you want to continue to collect and build and scale, your relics are scaling in. And then you have these crazy bidding periods as well. So, okay, I did these. Let me do this. I'm going to give you guys another opportunity as well. I'm going to give you guys a bidding. So these were just the fair raffles. After this one is done, we'll do a couple bids. So I'm going to create an auction. We're going to do what? Let me let you guys bid 2 jungle. I'm going to get you jungles. So we'll let you guys fight out jungle. Free mint, 1,000 supply, venture backed. Oops. Venture backed, and they're doing a mobile shooter game that's already playable. It's in alpha right now. I actually have access to it. Like very standard, Call of Duty, Counter-Strike with kind of a futuristic sci-fi design. Ooh, congratulations, Henny. Someone just won. Love it. You also realize that this random ass time, 10% of Soul Season 2 holders are online and just entered this. It's actually a crazy number if you think about that. 10% roughly, or 9% of our peak concurrent users who minted just got into this. It's an insane metric. Most people might not realize that, but from a peak concurrent PCU basis, ridiculous. Imagine if this was in our like a normal time slot in the early mornings where we have like 2x, 3x audience. It'd probably be closer to 20% or 25%, which is great. All right, we're going to make this one run for 5 minutes, and then this is Trustin Village is the name of it, but this will be getting you jungle. I'll let you guys bid 2 jungles very quickly and have fun with that. Huzzah. We'll see how that one goes out. All right, guys, let me do my favorite thing and get you guys on this design. Only 2 messages. That's not good. We'll make sure. We'll do some evaluation on this. This is kind of the thing that happens in this kind of market, right? On this front. But we're going to keep making sure that you have this, opportunities here. And yeah, perfect. Well, Lauren, I love that you went on a small vacation and you minted. That's fine. You got 2 weeks, man. You got plenty of time. And I love this kind of opportunity. I love this kind of design here as well. This is kind of where we allow each of you guys. But hey, like, don't judge too quickly on any individuals, right? Some people don't speak. Some people might not communicate. Some people, it might be alts. We'll do research. That's the nice thing about this design, is that you get to see it, and Mirror will reach out and communicate here as well. We'll do bids for Weebox tomorrow. Don't worry. I know you guys want more. This wasn't supposed to give you guys stuff. I just wanted to show you some stuff. Ooh, already at 69.68. Remember, you want to bid at this at the last moment For those of you who have season 2 soul, you still got 4 minutes there. While I do that, let me get you guys a relic set up real quick. I'll let you guys bid, but let me just set this relic up. Spontaneous Saint, let's call that season 3. Spontaneous Saint, or Spontaneous Light at the end of the tunnel. This is probably way too long of a message, but I want you guys to believe this. I want you to believe there's light at the end of this tunnel of this market. It's been very hard. It's not been ideal, but there's still hope. There's still a market of users who want to participate in this active community. And because of that, I think you're going to see us take a really fun approach in designing for that as well. And this is where the beauty of this design comes in, is that it's betting on you guys. We don't have to bet on anyone else right now to make this work. Betting on diamonds, betting on this community, betting on our partnerships, betting on our narrative, betting on our art, betting on the ability for us to consistently keep our pace. If you believe in that, Tribe will do very good things. Tribe will get to some very fun outcomes. Tribe will get to a vision that I think is sustainable and enduring. It may not be the, hey, let's go to 50 ETH immediately out the gates, but it will be constant, it will be consistent, and it will be focused on growth. This is what we do incredibly well, and where I think our differentiation is going to make sure that you guys do realize where that light is and head to that. And hopefully we build something really special with you guys and reward you along the way. That's the bet. We're rewarding all of our soul holders here. We're rewarding all of our active soul holders here. We're rewarding all of our active diamond soul holders here and diamond holders as well. This is what this all comes down to. I'm pretty excited to kind of share that with you guys. And I'm honestly so excited for the next 4 to 8 weeks, guys. I'm going to be in the best creative mood I'll be in a very long time. I'm going to get to put out a really fun 2 to 3 projects a month now. We're going to move fast, and we have partner projects coming. We have first party projects coming. Ronin's coming fast. Reapers is already in this active launch sequence. Like, that's the Reapers launch sequence is in motion now, right? Like, with these pieces coming in, you're going to get to see innovative contract design, innovative product design, innovative entertainment design. And then also, when you're bored, we'll give you all the knowledge on ordinals we possibly can. It's some crazy stuff, man. I think you guys are going to love it here, and just seeing where this product and experience is going, as long as you have the ability to participate. All right, so let's go to the secret chamber. Password is 93852. Password is 93852. Always use the favorite commands. Again, the password is 93852. Remember, make sure you read the page above on how to claim those relics explained. We'll turn this into a more interactive system as well to make it easier. But hopefully this is all working incredibly well for you guys to use. Appreciate you all being here. Let's quickly check the village market. Did someone already win? Oh, we did win 285 relics. Congratulations, Julieta. Ooh, and random string of